Hi, and today we're going to talk about alpha-gal, which is something some of you may have heard of. It's an unusual name. We'll talk about that as well. Basically, it's an allergy that some people can get. And I've got somebody with me who has lived it for the last few months. And we're going to go through a few things about what it is and how she is coping with it. So we'd like to say hello to Renee.
Hey, Coach Stephen. Hi.
Hi. Could you just give us a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and where you are?
Sure. I'm Renee, and I'm 54 years old, and I have like an amazing granddaughter and kids and a husband. I live in the heart of the South in the United States, in Arkansas, in the northwest corner.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. Thank you. Now, alpha-gal is a very unusual name, so I just want to get that out of the way, what that means. It's when you're bitten by a tick and you develop an allergy to mammalian meat, basically. And the unusual name comes from the fact that most allergies are based on a protein entering your body, but this one is the carbohydrate, which is called galactose alpha 1,3 galactose. So the alpha bit there is in the name, and the gal is actually just a shortened of the galactose. So it is a carbohydrate. Right. And what happens is the tick will bite an animal that has that carbohydrate, and then will bite you and pass that on. And then your body's antibodies will attack it. And therefore, the person that's been bitten can't eat things like steak and mammalian meat, basically. So this happened to you. So do you want to tell us your story from here?
Sure. I lived in Arkansas for a while and never even thought about tick bites. I thought, okay, it's inconvenient. You have to check for ticks and after you've been in the woods. And we have amazing trails out here in the Northwest area where I'm in. It's in the Ozark Mountains. And so I've been all over the trails in this area. Early September, we went on a trail walk with our granddaughter, and it was just a 2-mile trail walk, very well traveled. It was I didn't even think anything of it. I thought, okay, bugs, spiders, we're probably, shying away from all the people that normally travel on that trail. Well, we took just a slight jaunt, like 10 feet off the beaten path, to go check out this really cool abandoned building. And apparently that is when I must have gotten bitten. So I didn't think anything of it. Later that day, that evening, I had some spaghetti. It was just like mostly just meatballs with my granddaughter. She had spaghetti, I had meatballs, and went to bed that night. And no problem. I was actually kind of a little bit nauseous. I thought maybe it was just like the couple tablespoons of tomato sauce that I had, because I hadn't had tomato sauce in forever. So I was nauseous. I asked my husband to get me some nausea medicine. I took that, slept for a couple hours, and woke up with the most intense itching I've ever had. It was almost an internal itching. It was super intense. So
was that on your, when you say itchy, on your skin? I know you said internal.
It was on my feet, mostly my feet and my legs. And I woke up and I went to the bathroom. I had like a little bit more stomach upset, but mostly it was the itching that was getting my attention. So I looked, and I just had tons of welt-like bites all over my feet. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I must have gotten chiggers, but chiggers are usually just a bite here and there. I couldn't. And then I thought, oh, I'm allergic to tomato sauce because I haven't had it for a couple months. And I was convinced that's what it was. So I couldn't get seen by a doctor until that following Tuesday. That had happened on a Saturday. Saw the doctor on a Tuesday, and he said, oh, that's classic alpha-gal. It's classic. You probably you stepped on a nest of seed ticks, which are just the tick larvae. So I was in complete denial, ate beef all the rest of the week. No, no way, it's allergic to tomato. He took my blood tests. I had to go in the following week for blood tests and got the results. And sure enough, it was alpha-gal.
Ah, and had you heard of it before, or was it something?
I heard something just vaguely, never really crossed my radar.
No, okay.
I had heard of it. I thought, sucks for them. It's rare. That's it. Okay. I'm never going to get that.
So there will be some people very interested in that. You were aware of an allergy you had, or you thought you had, to tomatoes. So I'm British, by the way, so I say tomatoes. Americans say tomatoes. And just for people that are watching on YouTube, September 2021, and we're now in November 2020. Right. So that was a couple of months ago. Now, you've sort of hinted that actually you were quite interested in your diet before this tick bite. So I wondered if you could go back a little bit further and just talk about what you were eating before the tick bite and why you were eating a particular way.
I was head over heels since January of 2021 in love with the carnivore diet. I started it. I have enjoyed red meat, all the red meat that I could eat. I was embracing fatty red meat, and discovered, especially recently in August and early September, I started really thriving after getting on to the protocol for the feasting and fasting protocol that Raymond Nazon talks about. I was thriving on the carnivore diet. I was just starting to get into 36-hour fasting and really enjoying it and the benefits of it. And then this happened.
So that's quite a blow. And what made you look at carnivore? Did you have health issues and things before that?
I definitely did. I was on and off of keto, enjoyed all of the quote unquote keto snacks that really are not keto, not really. But I would go off of it at times. And the couple months before that, I was off of keto. I was on full standard American diet with, heavy carbs, heavy seed oils, and just enjoying fast food. It was just physically, I felt awful. I was bloated. I had a lot of inflammation. I had acne, terrible gas. It was awful. And then starting in January, of course, January 1st, I decided I'm getting back on keto. So I did. I got back on keto. And then within 3 weeks after, of course, I did a lot of research on keto. And then I kept coming up with carnivores that have come from keto. That was what really got me interested. And I decided at the end of January, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. I'm going to start the carnivore way of eating. And I discovered, of course, I was wanting to lose weight, but I discovered so many more health benefits of it. And I could still enjoy the meat. The meat is what I really always looked forward to in a meal. So that was the thing that I love the most about it.
Yes. So obviously the alpha-gal came at a terrible time as you were thriving and getting used to the diet. So most people probably watching this are interested in how to navigate alpha-gal. So this is where I don't have personal experience of it. Obviously, I've coached a few people, but this is where your expertise will come in. So if you want to go into what steps you have taken and how it's working out for you.
Yes, of course. I decided with the success that I had on carnivore, I decided, you know what, I'm not going back until I give this a really good try. I want to stay on carnivore. I don't want to go back to either keto or worse, go vegan. And a lot of people in the alpha-gal community say, oh, you have to eat vegan. No, no, I'm not going to. I refuse. So I decided I am going to tackle this with everything that I have, and I'm going to switch over to poultry. I can eat poultry and I can eat fish. So a lot of times you'll hear it as feathers and fins. So those are the foods that I can eat safely, that because those creatures do not have this alpha-gal molecule. So
yeah,
I've switched over to eating mostly chicken, eggs, fish, and I'm doing this with the same protocol in mind, where you feast in order to feed your hormones. And you can explain more about that, that you'll feel just so much better when you can get in enough fat. Right now, I still do not react to dairy, so or at least to butter. I'm not willing to try other forms of dairy at this point, but I'm strictly doing some butter. So, but my goal in moving forward is I want to keep learning more. I want to try other meats. Right now, I'm still keeping it basic with chicken thighs, which are my favorite. Fish that I know and can get, but then going forward, I'm going to start doing things like I want to try emu, which is a substitute for red meat, apparently. I had no idea that you could eat an emu before this, but now I'm going to try that. I'm going to try different forms of fish. So I'm kind of excited to keep learning more on this.
Yes, and that's the thing. The science really is the fact that you're still providing amino acids and essential fatty acids. The two things you need in your body are proteins and fats. Obviously, there's no essential carbohydrates. There's no nutrient deficiencies. And
right.
The anecdote I told you during a coaching session is when you're used to red meat or ribeyes and tomahawks and all those sort of things, big juicy steaks, you suddenly go to fish, for instance, and I had some salmon which I looked at on the plate and I thought, that is not going to fill me up, I'll have some other thing. And I had some monkfish. Once I'd eaten the salmon, I couldn't eat the other bit of fish. So you can still be carnivore, you can still eat when you're hungry, you can still eat and until you're satisfied and feel that you're getting all the nutrients that you need. So it's not such a big issue if you're like you and very positive about it and think, well, this is an opportunity to try different fish and try lots of different poultry, just to help people out there thinking, well, it's just going to be chicken. Well, no, that's not true. There's duck, there's goose, there's quail, there's loads of different types of poultry that you can try as well.
And I wanted to tell you too, that was one of the deciding factors when we had that conversation. And you said, well, wait a minute, I had this experience where I got filled up on these fish. That really was the deciding factor for me to go forward and really pursue this, because I thought there's no way I can fill up or I'm going to be hungry 10 hours later, and I wasn't. And it was exactly what you said, that really gave me the courage to try it. So thank you.
And obviously you mentioned the butter, which again, people don't seem to realize is sort of dairy, but it tends to be ineffective in triggering people with alpha-gal. But obviously you've got to be really careful if you have
absolutely
experiment.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be looking for other sources or trying other sources of fat, like duck fat and some others that are out there too.
Yeah, I mean, duck fat is a really nice thing. In the UK about 5 years ago, goose fat was really trending, actually, and very, very popular when people were using it for their roast dinners and things. So what is your standard approach to eating now? Do you do 1 meal a day or two? What, just for people watching, what's an actual day of eating look like?
Sure. So when I first discovered it, discovered that I had alpha-gal, I knew I was going to have to switch my body over to a completely different fuel because I was only having chicken very occasionally. So I decided I'm going to just eat all day long, whatever I need to eat. And I had, Raymond and you and Coach Danny and Coach and Bella in my head saying, okay, just eat everything you can, whatever you can right now. And I found that my body was still only needing 2 meals. For the first week, I went crazy with dairy. I thought, okay, maybe I'm not having any reactions right now, so I'm going to go nuts with dairy. Well, a few pounds later, I discovered that was not a good idea. So I cut back and only do butter now, but my meals are typically 2 meals a day. And then as I was filling up on those and squeezing the second meal in, I decided, okay, why don't I try 1 meal a day? One day I actually had an accidental OMAD where I forgot to eat. It was 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, no, I'm still not really that hungry, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to bed. So it was awesome, and I'm like, how can you have an OMAD on just chicken and fish? But it was seamless. It was easy. And then this past couple weeks, beginning of November, I decided, well, let's give it a try for a few days in a row. So I successfully did 6 days worth of OMAD on chicken, fish, and eggs. So and the thing that I had some comments on my Instagram that, oh gosh, that's just so boring. That would be so boring. And I thought, no, it's really not, because it's filling me up. It's completely cutting out all my cravings. And it's fuel. It's not entertainment anymore. And that's been a mental shift that Carnivore has helped with.
Yes. And that's the thing. I mean, we were doing coaching when this happened to you.
Yeah.
And I think it would throw a lot of people off, and they would just give up and think, well, maybe it's fate. You could think, well, this is fate. It's telling me to not eat red meat. But of course, there is anecdotal evidence that people have got over this over time. I keep looking online that maybe 8 months down, some people reverse it and they go back and they slowly introduce things back in. I'm not saying for people to do that. If they are 8 months in, you've got to be careful. Acupuncture, SAAT acupuncture, some people seem to think is something to look at as well. The claims there are that it clears up within 3 weeks. So if anyone's watching that has tried this, please comment below and tell us how you got on. So there's different ways of approaching it. One is the feather and thin. So you're looking at poultry and you're looking at, fish, seafood, which is great. You could look at doing that for a period of time and then reintroducing some of the mammalian foods and seeing how you get on. But obviously you have to have things like epipens, don't you?
Exactly. Yes.
If you do eat the wrong thing, then you've got that. So that's something you take with you, isn't it? If you'd like to just say what you carry with you. And
Sure. I always carry 2 epipens with me at all times. And in addition to that, I carry either liquid Benadryl or Unisom melts, which have the same diphenhydramine, I believe, in them. So they're quick acting, and in case you have a reaction. The thing is, you can have reactions to things like just fumes. If you walk by a barbecue place, people have had fume reactions to that cooking meat. So it's everywhere. It's in mammalian byproducts, in shampoos, lotions, you name it. So many things, medical devices or medical supplies like sutures. You have to be hyper aware. And I carry an emergency card with the EpiPen, so somebody can look and see, okay, she has this allergy, so call 911, give her the EpiPen or whatever. It just has a simple list of instructions for anybody that finds me in case I'm unconscious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
You've
very
not had to, have you had to use any of those?
No, not yet. No, I've been very, very careful. Like I said, the only thing that I have had that's not or that is mammal is butter.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And again,
so it's a Russian roulette, of trying things. I will go in to get tested again at the doctor's office in 4 weeks or 4 months. 4 more months. They'll test me every 6 weeks or 6 months to see what it's doing in my body.
Yeah, brilliant. That's excellent. And I suppose talking about the blood test, that I would like to go down the medication route. There are some medications that have bovine derivative, the bovine derived, and also some injectables. They have a bovine substance in there. So you have to really, really look at absolutely everything, not just what you're eating, but, your medications, like I say, because the reaction, if you have this tick bite affect you, you've just got to look at everything. And fumes is a really interesting one as well. Before I was eating this way 7 years ago, when I was high carb, I couldn't eat any fish whatsoever. This way of eating has meant that I can eat fish. I don't have the tick bite problem, but I do know what it's like to have an allergic reaction. I was hospitalized twice for fish-related incidents before my 50s. So I'm really happy with what we've done. Maybe we'll do a follow-up, I think, once you've had your blood test and, been doing it for a bit longer. You've covered it really well. I don't think I need to add anything really sciencey at the moment. So that's what we'll do. So we'll look at it, and maybe we'll do an interview in 4 months. And you have a brilliant Instagram. Do you want to just share how people can get in contact with you and how they can comment? And
thanks. Yes. So you can reach out to me at carnivore.mimi. As of right now, I have a couple more Instagram handles that I've grabbed for Alpha Gal specifically, but carnivore.mimi is where you'll find most of my messages, and I'll show you what I'm eating in a day, some of the experimental foods that I'm using, or whenever I do OMAD. I'm looking forward to doing a 36-hour fast on this coming up in the next few weeks. So really looking forward to that, and just look for inspiration on there and get a hold of me. You can ask me questions. I'll do my best. I'm very new at this, but I'll do my best to do the research for you and just that one. Okay, so that's
that's fine.
Okay, that's it.
Links in the show notes, so people can just click on it and go straight to wherever they want to go. And I'm not going to edit this. I think, we're humans. We don't need to have a flash edit. I'll put some pictures in of the tick and about the the carbohydrate in particular. So I want to thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the interview.
Yes, it's been great. Thank you.
Hi there. As you can see from the title, today we're going to talk about Alpha Gal, which is a see, I've messed up straight away. Let's start again. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.